Welcome in everybody to another episode of Fighting for Overtime, the youth sports podcast. I'm your host, Coach Tony. As always, make sure you like, subscribe. We're having a ton of fun here and obviously uncovering some great stories, getting some great conversation. And listen, honestly, we're having some positivity. So I do want to start this episode off with some positives. Okay, because I do think that a lot of things happening recently have been very negative. And I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak. Listen, comments are open. If you're watching this live, of course, this will be podcasted like always. And for anybody that's on, I have this going to Facebook, but right now the platform that I use is having issues with Facebook. So all I will say is if you're not on YouTube right now, you may not be seeing this. Okay, because Facebook is on the lockdown. Maybe, and if you are on Facebook, I see a couple people tune in on Facebook, so maybe Facebook is fixed. But just hear me out for 1 second. Okay, I want to say this, and I got to wear my North Catholic alum because I know there's some creepers out there that want to remain nameless that tune in, right, and that follow. All kidding, it's okay, and I think there could be some Roman boys and some Judge boys and things of that nature. All in good fun, man. I'm a North boy. I graduated in '96. I got a lot of friends who were Judge graduates and Roman graduates. So listen, it's all in good fun. Frankfurt, absolutely pioneers. I missed the turkey game, the turkey trot game, right? I mean, that was always a good time, right? Shout out to my man Bill Sykesman, who's coaching right now over at Father Judge for their football team. So let me get into a couple things. So I've told this before, and I'll say it again just for some new viewers out there. The main issue or the main objective behind this podcast has it started off as I just wanted to open up. I wanted to open up and I wanted to tell all the stories, the unfortunate stories that happened to me. That was the original part of it, okay? And it really spiraled into something bigger. And a lot of people that were listening to my stories because they are real stories. They really happened in youth sports. Three kids coming up through the system. Listen, everybody knows who I am, right? All my kids went to William Tennant High School. Every single one of them played athletics for William Tennant at some point. They got shit on, all three of them, at some point for whether it be idiot coaches or athletic directors. And listen, it is what it is, right? I think we all have those stories, and unfortunately, and it's unfortunate. So when I was telling them stories, I had a lot of good feedback of people saying, "Man, I thought it was just me. I never knew that somebody else dealt with the same thing." And I start thinking, right? And I start thinking, and my mind start going. I was like, youth sports is just so crazy right now. I mean, it's out of control. It really is. It's spiraling. I think we all know that. And I said to myself, what if we could open up a platform? And I say we is like me and a community. Like, what if we could open up somewhere where people can talk and people can vent and they can let out their frustrations? Okay. And listen, they could choose to come on here. They could choose to remain nameless. I really don't care. It's not about the names. People, please understand that. It's not about the names. What this this is bringing awareness to whether it be certain situations or maybe it obviously, like, I'm going to start off with a positive story. Could be some positive stories. I have some athletes that are going to come on here that are going through it, man. Ridiculous injuries that are unheard, that really pushing through. My man Foods is checking in. What's up, Foods? Thank you. Because of my man Foods, I have Nicole Dean's mom coming on in the next couple of weeks, Mrs. Dean, to talk about what it's like to be the parent of somebody who's a professional athlete now, but also going to go Division I school and high school. What it was like before NIL and things of that nature. And I'm not a celebrity. That's what, like, I think we all know that, but I'm just saying that in general. I'm not a celebrity. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. You cannot relate yourself to a celebrity lifestyle. So I know all these celebrities want to come out with their podcasts and they're, and everybody just gravitate towards them and supporting them, right? at the end of the day, those stories that they tell, I don't understand how you can relate to them because they live in a different stratosphere. They live in a different life. What we're doing right now is we're telling real stories. Okay. Real stories. And the premise is not the finger point. The premise is not to be like, this person's bad people. Okay. Now, I will say this, if you have that opinion, that's on you, right? That's on you. Okay. I have nothing to do with that. I'll give you my own opinion on something that happened to me, but I'm not going to label people based on stories that are given to me. Okay. But the whole point of this is to raise awareness, to hope that good things come out of it. Mickey checking in. Hey, Mickey, how are you? So, what I will say is, I want to bring up a very positive story first. And I listen, I hope that this honestly will really make everybody involved in this ISA twisted drama, that to really just everybody just be the bigger people, understand and say, you know what? Let's put the girls first. Okay. I know I'm thinking big here. I know I'm dreaming. We're going to go through everything. I have so many stories. Okay. I have literally, I have the rules that we're going to go through. I have emails written out. I'm going to go through all of that in this episode. But before I even get to that, I want to open up about one thing. Everybody that tuned in saw a couple episodes where I got a really bad review, a really negative review. Coach Softball 2008. Okay. And I came on and I blasted that person. And I will say 100%, I was pissed. I was pissed, not because of the bad review. You can listen, my nickname is Jigsaw, man. You can, but you see it right there. I do not care what people say. I have the thickest skin of anybody in the world. Okay, whether you want to call me fat, overweight, I got bad, whatever you want. I don't really care, right? But people, oh, look like, no, I don't have a missing tooth. I actually have a tooth right there. It's just kind of like hit in because I had braces as a kid and I was an idiot and didn't wear my retainer. Okay, so I got older, my little teeth kind of collapsed. But guess what? I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Okay, so my whole point is I got pissed off because I knew what that person wrote was not true. It was dead wrong. So I fought back. Okay, I fought back and I brought that to light and I tried to get this person to understand, hoping that they were a follower and a listener, okay, to understand that they were wrong. So here is the positive moment. And this is the reason why I want to bring this up before we get into the pitching rule and the emails, is because two adults can actually prevail. Okay? Cooler heads can prevail. People, it's not that deep. It's friggin' softball. Okay? It's not that deep. Okay? So what I want to say is I want to read you an email that I got back from Coach Softball 2008 after that person watched the episode where I blasted the person. Okay. And I don't even know if it's male or female. I just know Coach Softball 2008. Okay. But they at least sent me email. And this is what it said. Mr. Tony, I'm writing to offer a formal apology for a recent review I posted regarding your podcast episode that featured the Upper Southampton softball president. I have since deleted the review. After listening to your follow-up episode, I realized that I misunderstood the full context of the situation and the fact that you were actively investigating both sides of the story. And the other side of what I have is going to come tonight, I think. I now understand that you did a thorough job of exploring the issue and even acknowledged that if the pitching rule was broken, it was indeed a violation. And I did say that. We're going to get into that later. I do not personally know the president of this league, but I do know that there is a reputation for that person doing good work with children. The review was written out of frustration due to concerns I had heard about the enforcement of the league's pitching rule, which is designed to protect players. Ultimately, this situation impacts the girls in the league, And I believe the rules exist for a reason to ensure their safety and fair play. You must follow rules in any league you play in, and blah blah blah. Just a bunch of how blah 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 blah, blah whatever. I'm not affiliated with any of the organizations involved. I'm just interested to know if you have reached out to any of the other presidents or anyone else for their perspective in this matter. I know you said someone emailed you, but don't know what club that was from. I appreciate your commitment to telling a complete story and look forward to hearing your follow-up episode. I have listened to some of your other episodes, and I am truly a fan of your work. Listen, can we just say, by the way, this person also told me they are going to write me a positive review now. The reason why I read this, people, and the reason why I say this is because I want to start it off by saying good things can happen, right? We all get heated. We all get out. Listen, whether it's for your kids' sports, whether it's for professional sports, whether it's in your family life, whether it's whatever it is, we all get heated at times. But the best part about being heated is learning how to be mature about it and cool back down and admit that you were wrong. Listen, I'm not going to bullshit anybody. Dan, I had a lot of issues with anger, aggression, when it came to really being mad when I felt attacked. Okay? I worked on that, right? I had to grow up. Simple. I had to grow up. Okay? And I did. So what I'm saying is the best part about this is, number one, the person admitted. They didn't read it through. They jumped to the conclusion. They were pissed off, and they're like, you know what? We're just going to bury this person. Whatever. That's fine. The thing is, I knew it was wrong. So I stood up for myself, went back. Lo and behold, that person comes back, admits that they were a former apology, and going to rewrite the review. And now it's a fan and a listener. I don't say this to brag. I say this for awareness to say, listen, people, we can do it. We can do this. Okay. So I just want to thank Coach Softball 2008. I know they're listening because they're waiting for this. And like I said, man, I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it for at least, because I'll say I'm wrong if I'm wrong. Okay. And I think you're going to enjoy this episode because we're really going to dive in to other sides of the story who I think, again, I get emails. I'm not sure what organization they're from, but all I can tell you is there's other people that feel like this story was a little misconstrued. Okay. And the pitching rule I dealt with, I'm going to read. I have the ISA rules in front of me. Not you, Trip. Listen, I will be honest with you. Okay. And I may get people mad at me. Okay. But I have no skin in the game and I don't care. I don't care what you, Trip, says. I'm going to be honest with you. I coached. I dealt with these rules. I don't care. You know why I don't care? Because in my opinion, okay, I told you I played in suburban rec, suburban travel. Okay. It was run by one of the coaches at Marsville. I think his name was Greg or George Riccardi. I forget, if I'm not mistaken. We played on Friday nights and Sundays with no Saturdays because that's where rec was played. Okay. And there was a rule book. Okay. A rule book like this. There we go. Like this. Right. There was a rule book. So the reason why I say that is these are rules. Okay. These are rules. And these rules trump what the other rules are because this is the league that you're joining. So I'm going to talk about these ISA rules when it comes to pitching. I'm going to give you my perspective. Okay. Now, before we get into those rules, what I want to say is I want to read an email. And again, this email is going to be from Concerned Citizen. This is a concerned citizen. I don't know if this is a parent. I don't know if this is a cheerleader, meaning like somebody who went to all the games. I don't know if this is an umpire, a coach. I have no idea. Okay, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty well spoken for. Okay, so I want to read it to you. So please listen. It says I wanted to reach out regarding the recent episode discussing Upper Southampton softball. I understand you are not a reporter and that your role is to provide a platform for stories. However, I believe it's important to provide additional context that was not represented in this episode. I was able to observe from afar how coaches coached, how players interacted with each other and with opposing teams, and also how well or not well parents from all sides behave. While I respect that the episode reflected their own perspectives and their truth, I know there were things that were misrepresented and inaccurate. There is significantly more to this story than was portrayed. I have proof that other organization used Game Changer. Parents publicly posted Game Changer videos on Facebook, and these posts are still available online, which raises the question of why it was only considered a problem when it no longer served other people's specific interests. There is evidence showing, and this is important, a travel tournament listed on one of their team's schedules. It was indeed a travel tournament against other travel teams. Pitchers who participate in travel tournaments are not supposed to pitch in select or rec games. It's an obvious unfair advantage. Therefore, pitchers who pitched in that tournament shouldn't be allowed to pitch in select or rec. I'll be honest with you. I feel like that's true. I agree. I'm not saying any see this, and I want to say this real fast. This is the important part of the email. This part is really important, and I want everybody to listen to this because this is whoever this person is. What it is it's showing maturity, just like Coach Softball 2008 and myself. It's showing like let's put our hands together and understand this. Okay, so it says, I'm not saying anyone deserves to be kicked out of the league. This situation is extremely sad for the girls and unfortunate because at the end of the day, it seems it was simply a misstep in scheduling to play in a tournament the team never should have played in. That misstep created an even more difficult position for the team for the remaining season, but the way this story was told in this episode severely bends the truth while also doing those players and organization a disservice by only sharing one side. Truthfully, it seems like the ones in question need to just own up to a mistake, handle it the right way by accepting the rules that are rules, and all this would have been avoided. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. That's powerful to me. Okay? That's powerful. Because, again, I am not a reporter. I continue to say that. I am not a reporter. And by the way, if you're just tuning in for your first time, make sure you like and subscribe. Listen, I'm really starting to try to build this YouTube page a little bit. I mean, the podcast is everywhere, right? I'm very happy with the podcast. We are really doing well. We're like 100 downloads a day, which I absolutely love. Over 1,000 weekly. I love it. It's been it's been fantastic. We're really starting to grow this community. But I really want to get this YouTube page out there as well. You'll see a QR code right there on the bottom. If you scan that, that's going to go to a Linktree account. That Linktree account is going to give you everywhere the podcast is given, right? All the social media sites, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everything. And also the most important, I'm going to write this up before I continue. Fighting for overtime at gmail.com. And I write that because this is your line of communication, okay? Fighting for overtime at gmail.com. If you have something you want to share on this story or something else, please just send it my way. Now, you heard the email. You've read it, or I've read it. I've read it, okay? And now we're going to go to the next part, Okay. Now we're going to go to the next part. And the next part, okay, is going to be on, why Upper South was kicked out of this ISA league, whether I agree or disagree. I'm not saying anything. Okay. I just want, so you heard about the travel tournament, you heard about the pitching rule, right? You've heard about everything. So this is stated specifically given the Upper South. Again, another email. Okay. Another email. Upper South and their coaches have fought me all season about the travel rule and even about using video during games. They are still playing in tournaments and won't be, they are still playing in travel tournaments and won't be eligible to pitch again in fall. So for anybody asking a question, which Upper South people knew, but anybody like that is what was given to me as the reasoning behind these girls not being able to play in this ISA league. So the question becomes, what is the rule? What is the rule? And I am not going to the U-Trip site. I am specifically asking, I ask myself, what is the league rule? Can somebody send me the league rules? Can I want to uncover this. What are the league rules? And I'm going to read you again. Here are league rules. Number 20. I have it highlighted. Okay. Number 20, travel player rules. Now these are in bold. Okay. And again, I told you, I am here to tell all sides of the story that are given to me. And everybody can make their own judgment here. Number 20, travel player rules. A travel tournament player is considered anyone who is playing on a travel or / tournament team. The league will do its best to police this. Any player listed on the U-Trip website for their current year is considered a travel or tournament player. In addition to anyone that is playing on a travel tournament team. This includes players who were listed on the USSSA website for the current year and subsequently removed. If a player is listed on the website but does not have a year associated with it, you must have the player explain when they played and for what team so it can be verified on the USSSA site. If it cannot be verified or if the player does not supply the information, they will not be eligible to pitch. The onus is on the player or organization to explain why the player is on USSSA site if they are on there. If the players are playing on any other, and this is very important, if players are playing on any other travel or tournament team, example, USA tournaments or any other travel tournament team, not just USSSA, they are not permitted to pitch in the ISA at 10U, 12U, or 14U. If a team isn't sure, we encourage them to ask. Do not hide it. A player that is classified as an A travel tournament player is not permitted to play in ISA at the 10U, 12U, or 14U. Suburban Select is not considered a travel tournament. School teams are not considered a travel tournament team. So that's the rule on the site. Now, I have questions. And I have a lot of questions. And anybody checking in, Lori, what's up? I see Lori checking in. My man Dan checking up. Thank you. I appreciate it. I need answers to these questions. Okay. So anybody listening to this episode, whether they're going to listen to a replay on the podcast or they're listening to it live now, fightingforovertime@gmail.com. Let me know. And I will say this again. If there is somebody out there from another organization, I don't care if it's a president, a coach, and they want to hop on with me and discuss this, I'd love to hear other sides of the story. Because here's what I will say. I think there's a gray area. This is my own opinion. There is a gray area here to me. So I'm going to read why I think it's a gray area. So it says, number one, anyone who's playing on a travel or tournament team. Does that mean that they are registered on a travel or tournament team? Or does that mean they just went and guest played on a travel or tournament team? Now, you have to understand, I'm asking these questions. These are my questions. I coached 8U, 10U, 12U, 14U, 18U, coached them all, been in the same situation. And unfortunately, these are the same questions that were asked. I had two pitchers on my team, two of them, okay, that were absolute studs, okay? They did not play travel ball. Neither of them played travel ball. Neither of them were listed on the U-Trip website, okay? They played Suburban Select. That's it. No tournaments, no nothing. And we got shit all the time for those two pitchers. They're travel pitchers. No, they're not. They're not right. So this is why I'm asking the question, because I feel like even though I've been out of the game for what, 10 years, 10 plus years, it's still happening. So I'm just trying to understand this. Again, I would like to know, because to me, listen, if the rule specifically states that if a player goes and guest plays in a travel tournament, and it should say, listen, all right, let me rephrase that. It should say, if a girl goes to a travel tournament as a guest player, then she is not eligible to pitch. That's what it should say. Because this is leaving to me a gray area unless I'm reading it wrong. Okay? So a travel or tournament player is considered anyone who is playing on a travel tournament team. To me, that reads that player is registered on a travel team. To me, that reads that player is registered on a tournament team. Now it says the league will do its best to please any player listed on the web. We know that already, right? We know that already. And again, it says in addition to anyone that is playing on a travel or tournament team. So again, this is vague, in my opinion. But what I will say though, this is where one of the biggest things I would say, and I don't know this, okay? But this line right here is very important. If a team isn't sure, we encourage them to ask. Do not hide it. Now that's another gray area. That's another gray area. So, in my opinion, that's where the cooler heads need to prevail, right? And I've learned that throughout the years. If you're a coach and you know, you already know in your mind, right? Like there's been several different scenarios for myself when I was coaching. In my mind was like, all right, I don't know if this is right. Like, do I want to just go through with it, or maybe we should ask, right? So that's the mature thing to do, right? But if you skirt the rules, and I don't know if that happened, right? But if you skirt the rules and then it blows up in your face, then you can't play victim. My thing is, and again, I am just giving you my overall opinion based on everything I have here. Okay. It sounds like there was a team that was registered in a softball tournament, and it was a travel tournament. It seems like that's not, and again, fightingforovertime@gmail.com. If anybody in one of these four organizations in question would like to reach out, I would love to hear it. Okay, because I'm just painting my own picture here. Okay, I don't know if this is true, but it seems like a team went and played in a travel tournament. They were not registered travel players, the team that went and played, but they played in a travel tournament. Now, and the league is saying now that because they played in that travel tournament, those girls are travel players. To me, I disagree with that if that's the case, because it does not say that in these rules. right? A player, a designated travel player, is somebody that's registered. Now, see, I don't know how all that works because in soccer you have cards, you have to be registered. I don't know if you have to be registered now as softball players. I don't know. We didn't back in the day. Maybe that has changed. I'm not sure, right? But what I'm saying is that's a gray area. You cannot now if these rules said any player that plays, and it doesn't say that. It does not say that. It says playing, not plays. Playing. That's different. And I know many people, no, I'm serious. I'm serious. It's two different words, right? It's two different words. Play or playing is different. So if a play is a one-off, right? Guest play. It doesn't say that. It says playing. To me, if I'm an innocent bystander looking at these rules, the way I'm looking at it, that means that player, okay, that player with these rules is a travel player if they're registered a travel player. So again, I don't know. I don't know. So I think this a little more to the story, but I'm trying to give you at least a little bit of insight into what has been given to me. Okay, so you hear the email, okay, about a team playing in a travel tournament. I told you why it says that they were kicked out of the league, right? But again, this is a gray area. Okay, it's a very gray area. And before I get any further, I will continue to say this as a concerned parent myself, as a concerned former coach. We are continuing to go around this issue. And as we continue to go around this issue, or I say we because I feel like I'm part of it now, right? But as we continue to go through this issue, the problem I have is that's less time that these girls get to play. And I'm really hoping that somebody can stand up and be like, let's revisit this situation and figure it out. Okay. Again, I don't have any, I have no skin in the game. I have nobody playing. I'm not coaching. Okay. None of that. I'm concerned. I'm concerned that this podcast is specifically to be advocates for our youth. Okay, that the stories that will help parents will help coaches. And my whole thing is throughout this whole scenario, and I've seen it. I'm going to be honest. I've been put in Facebook chats. I've been tagged, which is great. I have no problem. But people still arguing amongst each other about this friggin' rule again. Like, let it go. Start over. Let it go. But what I would say is, what I would say is, please, you cannot have a gray area rule. And I'm not saying anybody's at fault here. I'm not saying anybody's at fault. What I'm saying though is, I don't understand it. Now, I'm not in meetings, right? We always had a kickoff meeting for Suburban Select. It was at the Horsham Library. We always had it. That's where we asked questions and we got answers. So I'm not privy to any of that. Again, I am not saying anybody here is right or wrong. I am just giving you, tonight was the first time I was able to share with you another side of a story. I read the email from the concerned citizen. Okay. And I was able to print these rules out my own, read them through, give you the reasoning. And that was given. Listen, that was the reasoning that you heard from the president of Upper Southampton that said that they were kicked out of the league. Okay. So that gave us right to the pitching rules. And I still think it's vague. Now, again, I will say this to be fair. I don't know if this was discussed, meaning I don't know if whoever the leader is of this ISA league told the president or coaches like, hey, by the way, if you go play in this tournament, you are not going to be considered or a part of our league. Now, I don't know. Now, again, there's it's still not in the league bylaws. However, to me, I'm going to be honest with you. To me, that's a situation where cooler heads should prevail. Meaning, let's play a scenario out. The coach or the leader says, "Hey, by the way, we're gonna go play in this tournament. We're gonna guest play in this tournament, and I'm not sure if it's against what we do or not. Like, can you bring the light?" And that leader says, "Oh no, that's against the rules." And then maybe I come back and be like, "Well, I don't understand because it's not under the travel rule section. Can you explain it?" If there's a gray area, listen, man. At the end of the day, as a coach, the coach, whoever is of that team going to that travel tournament, the onus is on them now. Like, I understand it's not there, but if you want to, put your cojones out on the court a little bit and be like, well, I'm doing it anyway. Well, you need to deal with the consequences, whether you like them or not. Again, I don't know if that happened. I'm trying to give you insight to what I dealt with, and I'm trying to put myself into this situation. Okay. But again, let's think about it. We are September 9th. School started. We're back in school. Fall ball's apparent. It's already happening. And we got what, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 25, 30 girls that got no league to play in. Whether you think it's just, whether you think they deserve it, at the end of the day, can we please think about the girls? Like, can we please think about it? This ain't about, again, this ain't about power trips, right? This ain't about anything. This is just about getting these girls to play. I just want to be fair on all sides. And I've said that. Like, again, I am not saying any of the stuff that comes out of my mouth and giving you my opinions is what happened. I am telling you that's how I feel. But the stuff that's emailed to me, I'm sharing with you. The stuff that's given to me, I'm sharing with you. And now you just heard tonight another side of the story. Another side of the story. But again, that still doesn't fix the Rule 20 gray area. So I would like to further investigate this with somebody who is really on the inside. And that's fightingforovertime@gmail.com. Okay. And listen, I don't know. Maybe you don't like me now. I don't think this is about who you like or who you don't like. I think this is about advocating for the kids of today. This is about advocating for our kids, right? I've said this before. I'll say it again. I don't care if you don't like the parents. I don't care if you don't like the people in charge. I don't care. This has not, take your goddamn personal agenda out of it, right? At the end of the day, whatever situation you're in when it comes to coaching or board decisions, take your damn I dealt with personal agendas for so many years. I was specifically kicked out of a club because of a personal agenda, all because a bunch of old fogies didn't want me in there. Simple as that. It was very, very simple. People that should have been on the board anyway. People that had power trips for years and years and years, had nobody even in the system. But again, they just wanted to be heard. They wanted some power on their sleeve. They wanted to be big shots. Congratulations. So what you did to me is you completely destroyed a team. You screwed a bunch of kids up. You had 9-year-olds crying on the field, and you had people bickering. But congratulations, you did your job, right? That's what you wanted to do. So that's what I say. At the end of the day, whether you don't like me or you don't like this person or this person doesn't like this person, again, stop it. Stop it. Personal agendas need to take a back seat to this, man. They need to take a back seat to this. I just had a great interview a couple weeks ago, actually last week, okay, with Heidi Smith. Just had a great interview with Heidi Smith. She talks about adversity to advantage, 140 years of advocating for women's sports, 140 years. She told stories where women were still getting banished from being able to attend sporting events. It's ridiculous. Why? Why is it still happening? And here we are talking about it again, and we're killing the confidence of a bunch of young girls. I don't understand this. I don't. I mean, listen, I enjoy doing this. I do. I enjoy meeting new people. I enjoy having great conversations. I enjoy getting to the bottom of stories, right? Not to hang somebody out to dry. Like, again, I'm going to read this. This person said it best. Concerned citizen. I'm going to kind of wrap this up in a couple minutes. But, and again, comments that are coming in, I apologize. Through Facebook, for some reason, comments come in, they come and they go. When I use a platform called StreamYard, and before I signed it said Facebook is a problem. It said they're working on it. So if I don't get to your comments live, I apologize. The only good way to get the comment on the air right now is to hop into the to the YouTube show, which is Fighting for Overtime on YouTube, and to put your comment in there. So I apologize if I don't get to it. But let me just read this last thing again, because I think this is a great closing end. Okay, it's a great closing end. That I'm not saying anyone deserves to be kicked out of a league. This situation is extremely sad for the girls and unfortunate. Okay? Listen to that. It's extremely sad. And again, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know from this email, from this, I don't know if this person has kids, they don't have kids, whatever. But honestly, that's only like the first or second time that, from besides myself, that I've heard anybody involved in this situation. Now Chrissy talked about it. I'll give her credit. She talked about the girls. But I don't hear anybody else saying, what about the girls? What about the girls? Not about this parent sucks, or this coach is an asshole, or this dude's got a power trip, or or she's a what with a loud mouth. And not like, I don't give a shit about any of that. What the hell does that matter? That doesn't help somebody hit a softball. That doesn't help somebody grow and mature. And I will say this too. Let's say this in closing with this whole situation. What are we showing these kids? Can I close with that? What are we showing these kids? Because I know damn well when you start going like 12U, 14U, you get into backseat conversations, you get the walk home conversations, you get the conversations that are overheard in the kitchen or on the deck or in the pool. These girls know and they understand. And we are showing them a hell of a bad example. Okay. And that's not a direct shot at anybody. I'm just saying. Like, we need to do so much better, man. We really do. Because they're not learning. These girls in this whole situation, okay, mentally, they are not, and again, they are not learning the right way here. And we are not putting them first. We're just not. Okay. So I just hope. And again, it sounds like it won't happen, right? It sounds like people were very adamant about this decision. And again, I am not trying to step into this. All I'm saying is, from everything I hear, no matter what it is, I can't believe that we can't get past it, right? And people feel very strongly about it, and I understand. I understand. Listen, I get it, and I like, and again, I'm going to give, and I don't even know who the person is, okay? And whether people like the person, and again, I'm not going to lie, I've heard the guy's name. The guy who runs the ISA league. I don't know personally. I've never met the person. I've never shook a guy's hand, never had a conversation. But what I will say is, I do give him some credit. Running a league like this sucks. It sucks. It does. Like, bro, it's terrible. Like, it is absolutely the most thankless job. Whether anybody says this guy's power hungry, whether people say this guy's not good people. Like, and again, I'm just throwing it out there. These are things that have been said about me, right? So I'm ad-libbing here, right? But honestly, like, no matter what this person is or how they feel that he is, dude, running a league like this is a full-time job. Okay? It is. So I don't envy him. And obviously, listen, he stepped up, right? Maybe he wanted it. I don't know. But again, it doesn't matter. So I'll at least give him credit. That he's actually doing the job. Okay? That he's actually doing the job. Vegas, what's up, buddy? Little different topic tonight. On Fighting for Overtime here. But yeah, I just, in closing, again, to everybody involved, you have the email right there, fightingforovertime@gmail.com. Give me a shout. If you want to talk, if you want to vent, this is a no judgment zone. It's an open forum. As you see, the way I can really gain my trust with this community is, again, I'm not, unless the person vividly says, yeah, I want to be on the show and this is my name. I mean, behind closed doors, it's just, this is me. This is it. Like, again, I don't have any skin in the game. I don't coach anymore. Um, I've been kicked out of several leagues, so I don't think I have any. I don't think I have any positive experiences to talk about there, because nobody wants to listen to my ass anyway. So it's not like I want to go tell somebody. They don't even want to talk to me anyway, right? They don't want to talk to me anyway. So, but again, and that's the thing too. I'm going to be honest with you. Let me say this too about the person that runs this league. You know, again, I've been I've been misjudged. I've been defamed, like, throughout my entire career. I've had a big percentage of people to think I'm a jerk off and I'm loud and I'm ignorant and I'm a bad coach and I'm a bad parent. And how do I do this? Like, I've had all that. And it was all false. I knew it was false. But again, like, until people actually know me, right? Until people actually know me, they don't know that. And it brings us right back to the beginning conversation with the podcast review. This person did not know me. This person did not know. They wrote a bad review on information that was misaligned and misinterpreted it. And they owned up to that. They owned up to it. It ended up as a positive experience. That person now, it not only has become a fan, but a follower of the pod, has given me credit, has offered their apologies, and at the end of the day is going to write me a positive review. I say that again as an example of how two adults can step up, okay, and amend fences. Very simple. So all I ask before we go on is everybody in this situation, everybody involved, let's think about the girls. Let's think about the girls. And maybe, again, maybe the girls, maybe they were talked about. Maybe I don't know. I'm not inside this situation. Okay. But please, let's think about the girls. Very, very simple. I'm Tony Cotillo, Coach Tony, right here on the Fighting for Overtime podcast. Please make sure you like and subscribe, not only the YouTube channel. If you're on social media, check out the TikTok, check out the Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook. No disrespect, but if I don't know you, I might not add you as a friend, but you can certainly follow me, right? Which is fine. Follow the podcast wherever you get, iHeart, Spotify, Apple, wherever it is. And I ask a couple things. Number one, if you like the show, if you don't like the show, and if it's warranted, give me a review. If you are an Apple user and you have an iTunes account, please go on Apple, check out the episodes, and give me a review. Okay? I got a lot of big episodes coming up. Very, very happy about. I got the owner of Takeover Sports in Southampton coming on. He works with several athletes, pro, college, high school. He's going to talk about a lot, which I can't wait. Might have a former Philly coming on eventually, which I'm pretty excited about. For my one of my favorite new people, Lori, checking in. I see her comments go in and out. So Lori, I apologize because they're coming on through Facebook. Facebook is all screwed up right now. But I can't wait for that. My man Rich checking in says, I got you on everything coming up October 9th to 18th. I see. Oh, we're going out, Rich. We are going out, bro. We're going out, man. For real. Definitely. And big shout out to my man Fuji. I'll be on his show tomorrow night, the Fuji Flair, because I'm going to give my story about how I got started. How I got started in the PR business, how I got started in the marketing business and sports media, and what I'm doing today. Just give everybody a chance to say, look, you can do it. If I could do it, if I could start a new career at 47 years old or 45 years old when I started it, I'm 47 now. God damn, anybody can do it, man. Anybody can do it. And a big shout out to Fuji, like I said, for getting me connected to Mrs. Dean. Okay, getting connected to Mrs. Kobe Dean's mom. That will be jumping on me in the next week or two. to discuss her journey. I'm not need to talk about Kobe. This is her journey to talk about what it was like raising a Division One athlete, what it was like going through it before NIL, right? What it was like when your son's injured and his mental capacity and what your mental capacity is. Like, I want to know about the parent. That's what I want to know about, how they deal, what their mental capacity is. So again, man, this was a great episode. I appreciate it. If you're listening back on podcast, thank you for the support as always. I want to thank Coach Softball 2008 for their great candor. I want to thank our concerned citizen for everything they sent me. I think it was very, very warranted. Gave me everything I need to know. Okay, and I still want to. I want to give a shout out to Chrissy, the president of Upper Southampton, because again, she started this ball rolling, right? And whether you like her, whether you don't like her, whether you like what she's doing or you don't like, you at least have to respect her for getting the cojones, okay, to step up to the plate and just be like, whether I'm right, wrong, whatever, I'm going on this head on, right? I'm going on this head on. So I think that's very important. So again, as always, everybody, like I say, stay safe, stay healthy, and again, think about the girls.